Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Penalty Loop Podcast, a podcast about biathlon by Jordan Gottschalk from Penalty Loop and a regular guest, RJ Weiss from Biathlon Analytics.
Hey, RJ.
Dr. J, take it away. You're going to fill me in on what's been happening in the biathlon world here.
Yes, so we are back. This is our first of what's going to be a run of interviews we got going on. So we have, you'll hear after this is Logan Pletz. And of course, we will be talking about rifles to your heart's content. So if you want that, just skip ahead to around the 30-minute mark. That's when it really gets going. And then it carries on. But seriously, before that, we do a quick check-in. What's been going on with him, since last season, how he felt last season went, things that he learned from last year, looking ahead to the Olympics. So all that, and then we go hog wild on rifles and his latest projects. I would recommend that before we get there, you might want to go to his website or visit his Instagram page. They both have generally the same name. It's going to be Project LP is the Instagram handle, and then projectlp.ca is the website. And so at least, I found it helpful just to have it pulled up while he's talking, so you can just sort of have a visual of what he's doing. And it's pretty impressive, the stuff that's changed from even just last year when we talked about it. It feels like it's taken, obviously, totally. His biathlon career, he spent a full year on the World Cup, but at the same time, he's got this whole company really up and running, and it feels like last year it felt like a passion project. This year it feels very business, professional.
Almost, hey?
Yeah. It was very cool listening to it. So I think everybody's going to really enjoy it, even if, like me, you are not somebody who has spent a lot of time around biathlon rifles. I think that it's a really good listen. And of course, all the stuff that comes before that is a lot of fun too.
Of course.
So since we last got together, it's actually a pretty newsy little intro here, because honestly, I think I can't remember a time since you and I have been chatting that we've had this much going on in August. And the first bit of news is obviously the hardest. I think we were all pretty saddened and stunned to hear about the accident that tragically took Laura Dahlmeier's life well before. I mean, anybody would ever imagine. Obviously, it's a big risk with this sort of mountain climbing, but it almost becomes such commonplace. We see the pictures all the time that we sort of forget that these accidents happen. And for it to happen to somebody that we all feel like we have this connection to, because we watched her for those years and biathlon, and it's hard. I tried to process my thoughts. I wrote a piece on the website, and I'll link it in the show notes. Just trying to process, like what we had with Laura, and then she was only with us for a really short time. Like when we think about biathlon careers, and then one of the things I shared in there was like Franziska Preuss is, I think, 5 months older, 6 months older than Laura Dahlmeier, and obviously she just won the World Cup, or the overall last year, and it's just hard to process it. I think I told RJ, you and I have chatted about it a couple times, but the thing that I keep coming back to is she was just so young. I mean, and I think about
and that's. I think of what I said, the two sides to it. One is, such a young person passing away with an accident in the mountains makes me just so sad. Obviously for her life, but her family and friends who have to go through that. And then on the other hand, you're talking about this athlete who it feels like she's retired like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And was, like you said, she could have easily... She had the age to still be on the World Cup, and I'm pretty certain she would have done a really good job too. And I don't know the reasons. I'm sure there was good reasons for her to decide to retire. It's it really gave me sort of a double bad feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
it was just,
and it shows you that she was a very, from what I mean, I don't know her, but from what I read and saw previously on her Instagram, she wasn't like a crazy risk taker or anything. She knew what she was doing, and still shows that in those situations, accidents can take people's lives, and just
It's awful. And obviously our thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. I mean, I just as a parent, like, I just don't know. I just don't know how you get over that. But anyway, I honestly, I could talk about it all day, just because it doesn't compute in my head.
All right.
I should say the next big piece of news, which all by itself, I mean, would be the biggest story of pretty much any other month, is that Ziggy Mazet announced that he will be stepping away from the Norwegian national team at the end of this upcoming season. And, can't say I'm stunned by this news. I thought it was very interesting that he announced it in August. Nice of him, actually, to the Norwegians, that they get an entire season where they are able to, of course, look ahead and figure out their coaching position, going forward. But I think that you probably feel the same way as I did.
Yeah, and I'm really wondering, because when we were in Oslo, we were talking about if Ziggy would retire after JT Bowe was retiring.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he announced his retirement for after the Olympics, I'm really wondering if his contract was until and including the Olympic season.
Yep.
And I'm really curious if that was not the case, if he would have retired.
I
the end of last season.
Myself, like, were there conversations he had with the Norwegian team? Was it like, to get out of the contract, would there have been some buyout, and he just decided that he was like, well, I'll see it through? And
I also think that's pretty rough it's not like they don't have enough good athletes, but to do that in an Olympic year is not.
Nope.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting if they're going to get another non-Norwegian, or if they're going back to their Norwegian.
Yep. I had a couple of interesting thoughts. I don't know if I'm ready to share them yet. I'll tell you later. But I just have some names I was kind of rummaging around in my head. But anyway, I'm not
Matthias?
stunned. Matthias is definitely on my list. Andrew, I think Andrew would be good. Tobias. I think these are all my guys. Actually, I just threw Tobias' name out there, but that would be.
I knew you were. I lured you into that one, eh?
Yeah, you did. No, I was like, well, actually, it's not kind of fits. But anyway, I know in his subsequent interviews, he talked about how he would be. He was very political in the way he answered it, but interested in basically the French position. Should it be offered to him, he would be inclined to consider it, to put it mildly. So I'm curious to see, after after the Olympic season, is there a turnover there, and he comes aboard for the French team for the run up to the 2030 home Olympics, which would make sense. I mean, Frenchmen.
Well, the two head coaches they have now are definitely not young.
Nope. No.
Not to say that that's a reason for them to stop or be replaced, but
And there's, both men and women, you got good young talent that you can coach up. So I think that that'd be a pretty good fit.
Kind of a scary thought, to be honest. Especially for the women.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But, if he's looking for a challenge, I think they have somebody on their men's side who could be an interesting project for a couple more years.
It would be fascinating to see how they got together, how they got along. I would love to watch that happen. And of course, we're talking.
But he may have coached him already, right?
Jacqueline?
Yeah,
probably very early in his career when he was still. He's. Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure they have. I'm sure he did. But it would have been when he was very young. I think that'd be fascinating, especially now that he's this deep into his career. How much it would sort of be two very tough people. And again, I think that you and I have we love Emilien. We love Jacqueline. We think his panache is great for the sport. Sometimes it drives us crazy, but only because we love him so much.
Drives him crazy too.
Yeah, but it's not because we dislike him. It's all because we appreciate what he brings. Right? It's it's like Emilien, you were so close. But and
I keep growing fonder of him every time. So
it's true. Speaking of, this weekend we got to see Emilien doing Jacqueline things, all the best things that we could hope for in the Blink festival in Norway. Of course, we'll talk about the more important things, but in the men's mass start, he took the lead. I believe it was on the fourth lap. So after the third shooting, he took the lead, and he really pushed it hard to stretch out to the lead, and then got there for the final shoot, and of course had, I think, three or four misses, and ended up in third place. It was like, it was.
And they don't even do the full penalty loops, do they?
No, it's like the little tiny ones.
Like the roundabout.
It was just like, I was like, really? You like the poor man, like he can't even have it go his way in the summertime. Like it was classic. It was so perfect. The fans there got the full Jacqueline experience. It was really great. But no, it was, Blink was great. We got to see, Lisa Vittozzi back, and I'll be honest, like she has to be pretty happy with, where she is right now. Obviously it's early August, but she looked pretty good. And if I didn't know, right, if you just had missed all of last season, didn't know that anything had changed, and you just watched, you'd be like, oh yeah, Lisa looks like Lisa. She was second in the super sprint qualifier, second in the super sprint final to Lou, and then she won they had like a mass start like tournament, so quarterfinal, semifinal, finals, and she won the quarterfinal, she won her semifinal, and she won the final. And really in the final, like she looked magnificent. So that was, again, I'm not going to say that, oh, well, she's back, she's, going to dominate, but you wouldn't have known that anything was different last year.
Right.
If you just picked up and watched. Lou looked great. I mean, Lou looked like Lou Jean Monod, Eric Perrault. Every time I see him, I feel like every subsequent year, I feel like he's taken another like step forward. And it wasn't like this year, it wasn't so much like he did something on the course that was like, ooh, wow. But it was almost like we talked about last year with Elvira. Like there was sort of a maturity that you just saw with him. It's just like he seemed ready. Like, I know that I am one of the big draws here, of course, as like a dual citizen, Norwegian, French, obviously knowing that he is like without the Bow brothers there or whatever, like he is going to be one of the big ones. And he,
having some good conversations with some bystanders in Oslo probably helped too.
Probably helped. Yeah, exactly. Caroline Knoten. She is, of course, not training with the national team this year. She's on her own, but she looked very good. And I think it's heartening to see that, training on her own, she's certainly not hurting. Let's see, she was
might
fifth.
Be one of those things that turns out, for some people that may just work better, right?
I wonder, yeah. So fifth in the super sprint qualifier, sixth in the super sprint final. She won her quarterfinal, and she would have been second in her semifinal, but there was something, I think there was a crossfire incident. Like she looked very good, and then of course she got like a 6-minute penalty and didn't go on to the final. But I would have, she looked very good. So that was obviously good. Juni Arnekleiv had a great weekend. Interestingly enough, so she is in a relationship with Jacqueline, and they had exactly the same finishes in the different events. That was pretty funny.
Juni Arnekleiv with Emilien Jacqueline?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Huh. Is that new?
Yep. Like last year.
Okay.
The Polish women were there. So Tobias, speaking of, he had his women over there. So I know that Anamaka was there, Jacques Yella was there, Sidorovich was there. And then Anna, is it Nedza Kubinic? was there as well, and they all look pretty solid. I think they had 3 of the women made it to the finals in the mass start. Sidorovic was the only one who did not. But overall, I mean, he mentioned on Twitter that, because I had mentioned him, that he felt pretty good with their results. And then there was a young German man, Leonard Pfund, Pfund, who had some really good results, and I was kind of surprised. And I don't know if it's one of those.
Was the whole German team there?
The B team was there, so he was there.
Oh, B team. Okay.
Like Julia Kink was there, Lucas Fratscher was there, Anna Vidal had very good races. I think that was, she was one of the surprises. Like, she just looked better than I necessarily would have expected. But I think
was Anna Gantler there?
She was not. No, I think she was training.
Okay. And any North Americans? Probably not, eh?
Lexi Madigan is an American. She was there. Okay. I think that was the only one I recognized. And a bunch of other, the other Norwegians. Christensen, of course, looked good. He always looks good at Blink. Martin Uldal was pretty fantastic. What was his?
Lagerud there?
Lagerud was there. Yep. So the super sprint final for the men came down to it was like a photo finish, and Perot won by 2 millimeters.
Toe tip. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
And how about Tanvervold? Was she there?
She was there, but ended up not competing. And I don't remember why. I don't remember exactly why she didn't compete. I don't think it was nothing serious. Maybe it was like a cold, but it was nothing serious. But she was there.
Right. Hey, but I was going to get back to, you said about Ziggy, that it was good for the team that he let them know now, so they have a year to. Do you feel there's also a downside to telling this early?
In what way? I don't disagree. I'm just curious.
Here in team sports, like more like soccer and stuff, that the general thought is that coaches lose some of their authority or authenticity when players know they're not going to be their coach next year anymore.
Sure.
In the sense of, why would I do what you want me to do if you're not here next year anyway, kind of thing.
No, I was curious. Yeah, no, I hadn't thought about it quite like that.
I guess more in the sense of, do you want to invest time?
Yeah. Oh no.
With a coach where it's his last year,
and things are going to be different. I think in this situation, I think especially for the men, it's such a highly competitive environment that you want to give yourself every argument that you have for whoever the next coach is of why you belong on the World Cup squad.
But he could tell the federation to say, you might want to start looking. Like I really like how the German, he's not German, but he's now the men's coach for Poland, actually.
Oh, Velpic.
I like how he did it. Like, from what we know, nobody really knew until the World Championships were over. Then he said, okay, I didn't, do as well as I wanted to. So,
I wonder, and I'm just having this thought now, so it's a half-baked thought, but I wonder if with Ziggy, everybody probably knew that his contract was up, and he wanted to sort of not have it be a question that was asked every week. Like,
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, but
no. I'm certainly not arguing your point, because I can totally, I understand what you're saying completely. Yeah, he's sort of a lame duck. So there might be.
I guess for me, I would just think of more, if I was an athlete, it would make me restless knowing that he wouldn't be there after the year, and that there would be somebody new. Because then my question would be, well, who's going to be the next one, right? Or if you don't know, his contract might be coming up, but I don't know. Just I
like it. End all speculation now by announcing Tobias as the head coach tomorrow. Sorry, Tobias, I didn't mean to saddle you with that, but now I got to find out. I'm sure I'll hear about that one. Yeah, it was fun. Blink was fun. At some point we should talk about some other summer events, but we don't need to do it today because we have a fun conversation with Logan to get to.
That sounds good.
Yep. All right. Enjoy it, everybody.
Yep. Thanks for listening. Have fun. Dr. J, how are you?
Doing well. It's been a busy month for us, man.
I know. It's hard to believe that we're already counting down that the kids are going back to school. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Well, so back to school actually in Florida starts it's actually on Monday. And our kids are young enough that it doesn't matter. But we've been seeing all this stuff, and you get that it doesn't matter how old you are, you still feel the needs like, oh man, I need to go buy some notebooks and
Is it just because people in Florida need some more education, or?
We could definitely use some more education. No, it's a weird schedule. The school gets out here in like early mid-May. So it gets out really early and then goes back early. And I'm sure it has something to do with the citrus crop harvest and blah, 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 but I don't pretend to understand.
It's the moon cycles.
It's the moon cycles. I'm sure there's some other, quasi-scientific reason for it. Yeah, we do. Man, we do weird stuff in Florida. Yeah.
I was going to say, welcome back, Logan, on the podcast, Logan Pletz. Last time we talked, I think you were in a bit of a different situation. In the meantime, we've also talked with head coach Andrew, who explained a little bit. So I'm sure we'll get into that. But first of all, how are you doing? I know you have moved, so that's always a bit of a headache. Hopefully with benefits in the end.
Yeah. I was living in Canmore until May, and then I moved in with my girlfriend in Cochrane, Alberta on May 1st. Or I guess I lived in Canmore until April. I guess for those that don't know, Cochrane's it's exactly 46 minutes to the Canmore Nordic Center.
Okay, I was going to say, did you add 45 minutes to your drive? So
which actually doesn't matter that much because the range is still closed for renovations, so I don't even have to drive out. But
I think they just opened for little usage,
Friday.
Right?
Yeah. So there's like 6 gravel lanes right on the end, but I think from what I've heard, it's just the rain. Like the rain in Calgary area has been, I'm telling you, RJ, but it's been like insane this year. And so they can't pave. I think they've been ready to pave for a month and a half and they just can't do it because it rains every third day. So I don't know if there's much blame that can be assigned any which way, but it's just been unfortunate for the Olympic prep.
So is it going to be any different when it's all said and done, or is it going to look the same, but everything is just new?
Yeah, I think they moved a tunnel.
Right.
Yeah, there's like a longer concrete underground tunnel. I'm not exactly sure where it goes, but all the parts, like bits of it, are still above ground. So you can kind of see it on the range. And the firing line was getting pretty bad as well. Like there were quite a few potholes and whatever. Right. So that'll be nice once it's all done up. But and because the sort of the half of the loop feeds in on the course to the sort of like the back half of like sort of where the penalty loop is in Canmore. So we actually can't really use the like half of the roller ski loop as well because it's a one-way and you just kind of get stuck. You can go that way and then you have to do a double pole across a gravel parking lot.
Great.
Which kind of, we have 5K of skiing at the Nordic Center, and every third or fourth loop we brave the gravel parking lot just to switch it up, but it's not as ideal as it used to be, that's for sure. So, but the skiing in Cochrane is not bad at all. So, that's kind of been my savior so far this year. There's a few highways that are pretty quiet, especially in the morning. The one that I'm using primarily just kind of dead ends at some guy's cattle farm. So there's just farm traffic, and you get to the end of the road and everybody's super stoked to see you out there. And so, yeah, it's usually a good time.
Do they know who you are?
Yeah, it's it.
I don't know if not by name for sure.
Okay.
There's one guy that stops, because my girlfriend McKenna comes out with me. Sometimes she'll like take video from the car or like drive me down, because the one hill's pretty steep to ski down on roller skis. And so he often stops and talks to her. So it was pretty funny. He kind of pulled over the one time, and he asked McKenna, he's like, so is he training for the Olympics or something? And she was kind of like, yeah, sort of.
It's actually exactly what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty funny. But yeah,
you're not going down that hill from the east side of Cochrane, right?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
too much traffic.
Yeah.
There's one residential climb in Cochrane I want to go check out, but the spot that I'm at now, it's like a 10K or 10.5K to the far end. And there's like 2 pretty good sustained climbs. So I can do like I go out 10K, come back. It's like, it takes me an hour, 25 minutes. So if I do that twice, it's a decent volume day. Or if I do it once and then kind of cool down on the way back, it's good for intensity. So it kind of fills the need,
right?
If not getting a bit repetitive. But
check out the road to is it the ranch house? Is that what the bill?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's on that main intersection on the east side of town. If you come from Calgary, from Bearspaw area.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's like that old log cabin ranch.
Okay.
And there's a bit of a windy road that I've always thought would be nice to roller ski up and down on. And there's not a lot of traffic because I think it only goes to the ranch house. So.
Right. Okay. No, that's a good thought for sure. Yeah.
But so you're currently not on the national team, but are you sort of on the B team? Is that your?
Yeah, I think that's national development team.
Right.
So they kind of like last year, the national team just ended up being anybody that got an SR card from Sport Canada. And there wasn't really much room for interpretation, I guess, or exception. So that's just was what it was. And that's where it is. So, so I still get like quite a bit of support from them. I mean, they don't have, a big team, just like the senior team on their own. Right. So, the coaches have been pretty good about, inviting me out to shooting sessions and stuff like that, which is super helpful because, like going up to Shark as we like up to Mount Shark, since the range has been closed, is not a short drive for me. So I can drive to Canmore and ski at the Nordic Center, and then I'll get there early, and then by like 10:15 we pile in the van and go up to Shark, and that's been a good kind of a good compromise. So so I'm still seeing those like team members, not on a regular basis because I don't head out to Canmore that often. But I mean, it will get more frequent the closer the season comes as well. But so far this year, it hasn't like seemed super necessary. So
right. And is like, are you going to the IBU Cups for sure, and then maybe World Cup, or is there a plan for that?
I haven't heard anything. We don't currently have an HPD position. I don't know what they're called. They might have changed the name, but I think there was hiring that was happening for that. I saw there was a job posting a few months ago, maybe, and then so I'm not totally caught up on where that's at, but a lot of those decisions will come out of that position at some point. So I'm kind of just going off of what we did last year. We're going to have trials in November.
Right.
I'm assuming if we don't, that would be a shock. And then from there, we'll just have to see where it all kind of shakes out.
Sure.
So,
because I think we had 2 high performance development leaders or managers or whatever the role is called, 2 in the last 2 years, right? Like this would be the 3rd in 3 years?
At least, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, or even if you go back 4 years, I think I might have had like one more. So yeah.
So you're just a really tough group to work with, I guess.
We
eh?
are, yeah, we are. We are a very tough group to work with. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Well, now the
And then
gals
the-
and Emma are gone, so the problem children are really gone. You guys are all a joy. Yeah.
Well, there is like, it is I mean, especially on the women's side too, but on the men's side for sure, there has been like a lot of turnover like quite quickly. But even go like, I feel like Scott, Christian, Jewel, and Trevor were probably like the big names that have retired in the past few years, but there was like a whole supporting cast of like solid IBU Cup / like World Cup contributors that also retired like during that time period. So a lot of the sort of like, I don't know, ownership or responsibility to be on the actual racing circuit fell onto Zach and I, maybe a little bit too early. Like Zach was on the World Cup when he was 21 and I was, 22, I guess.
Right.
And then now, now it just keeps like kind of trickling down. We had Jasper on the World Cup at 19 last year, as well as Gavin and Dan, who are also like, they're kind of, juniors or fresh out of juniors. So we have like, I feel like not bad depth actually in our age group, but it's just not our time yet, right? And like for Zach and I, it's probably closer now, but 3 years ago it definitely wasn't. So
you guys are still like 24 years old. I mean, it's still, I think that's still a relatively large burden to be expected to carry. Because it's you guys and Adam are sort of like
Adam is I forgot his age, but he's not that old either, is he?
It's like 28.
Yeah, he's a 98. He's 2 years older than me. So he's
so
26 now,
26.
I guess. Yeah, but he's a team leader he was team leader last year, 25.
It's crazy.
So, So, and the girls are, like,
similar.
I guess probably similar. The girls, it's different because they can get better. It feels like at a younger age, maybe. Like Pascal and Benita have both been like quite strong at a very, or like not a very young age, but like pretty young. So it maybe doesn't show as drastically on the women's side. But yeah, it's you're kind of one illness or injury away from slight catastrophe potentially. You only have like 4 or 5 strong, like 4 strong guys or 4 plus one that can fill in a pinch, but
And so how do you, obviously the Olympics are coming up. Like you said, your plan is kind of trying to do similar to what you did last year, but like obviously I'm hoping that there's some arrangement for housing and that kind of thing for the Olympics already in place, but I don't know if you would know much about that, but
yeah, like all of the like actual on-site stuff is handled by the COC, so it's not really in our hands at all. I don't know where we're staying. There's like some hotels that are designated village hotels, and then but it is a bit more spread out because it's like Milan Cortina, and then Antolz is not Milan or Cortina, really. It's kind of 2 hours away from both.
Hopefully they know that.
Yeah. So I think from what Adam told me, like yesterday, he said that we're kind of in the Cortina village group, I guess. So they'll have like pretty regular transportation from Cortina to where we are located. But Milan is going to be a journey away. So, and our race schedule is pretty serious. So we're not, I can't imagine we're making day trips to Milan to go watch hockey or whatever. So
that's the hard thing with biathlon too, at the Olympics, right? Is that you guys have races like every other day or every third day for the entire 2 weeks. So it's not like you get a couple days where you can like, hey, I want to go see the hockey game, but
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've seen that schedule. I don't know. I haven't done it yet. So, I mean, well, World Champs is like pretty similar, I guess,
it
in
is
that
Yep.
sort of regard. But yeah, it's going to be, I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty busy week or 2 weeks.
Yep.
So,
what are you looking forward to most as far as like the Olympic experience? Like if, everything goes great, you're healthy, you're ready, you're
making it would be a good start.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming you're on the plane. You're on the bus. You're heading over there. What is what's the thing that you would be like, this is what I want to experience. If I can do this, then, my Olympic dream has, far exceeded all expectations.
I know, like I know a few of my family members are planning on going, in that hypothetical. So that would be, I think that'd be pretty cool to, have quite a few of my family members, there on course, because they've, my parents have come to Europe, once, I think, for World Juniors, and then once for World Juniors in Park City or Soldier Hollow.
Sure.
But nobody else. And then McKenna, my girlfriend, came last year as well. But other than that, it's been, you're just with the team. So, if like there were 4 or 5 of my family members out there, that would be pretty cool. Because that'd be 4 or 5 more people than normal cheering for me on the course.
Do you hear them?
So
when they've been there, can you pick out their voices?
If I know where they are.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, depending on the venue as well. Some are obviously just loud and that's it. But I like Soldier Hollow there were not that many people, and I could definitely like tell where, like, I knew my parents were like in the stand, like in the range. But the way the Soldier Hollow course goes, there's like a back section that kind of doubles back behind the range. So I was able to pick them out for the individual at least. So
yeah, I'm curious. So, and this is kind of a silly question. If you would rather not answer it, it's fine. Is there anything that your parents have said while you're racing that you heard it and you're like, really? Like, why did you say that? Like, because, and I asked this because, as I ran like cross country and track, and my parents were awesome. Like, I can't remember any specific instances, but I do remember hearing people say things while I was running, like, that's not helpful. Like, that's like, stop.
I don't like, I mean, my parents always tell me, like, they're always like cheering and stuff, but they're also saying like, go hard and whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's
typically
kind of
what I try.
That's kind of a given.
And that's actually exactly what I was thinking of, is because there'd be people who are like, all the way through the finish, it's like, actually, I thought I was just going to sit down right here. This is it. I made it,
Yeah.
But
no, I think sometimes, I guess the fun part is I'll have a different understanding of how the race is going than they will. Yeah. So when they're cheering on course, they might be super stoked and I'm not. Or it's the other way around, right? Where they're like, I think I'm having a bad day, and I'm actually like, for whatever reason, not like, I'm like, pretty happy with my performance. So that's always fun when I can tell like that they're not on the same level as I am, either one way or another.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm sure they'll be out at like Canmore, like November trials, and that's definitely like a different experience because everybody's right close to the course and everybody knows everybody, right? So that's like the last great biathlon race in Canada before you go and race in front of a bunch of people you don't know. So.
Right. Do you see it? So when you always represent Canada, obviously, on the World Cup and IBU Cup, and does it feel different at the World Championships? And do you think it might feel different at the Olympics to represent your country, just because it's bigger? Like we'll probably have a dedicated biathlon announcer for the Canadian TV, for example, which doesn't happen too often. Like, does it make it bigger for you, or is it once you put the suit on, it's
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, world champs, I would say probably not. Like,
Yeah.
there's like very subtle things that are like different from like an athlete experience perspective for world champs than is like apart from a normal World Cup. And especially a World Cup at like a big like venue. Like they'll do like an opening ceremony for the Ruhpolding World Cup or the Oberhof World Cup where you're like walking out and like it's a once like no other venue does it. And you'd think it's world champs, but it's not. It's just like that's just like the weekend thing. But yeah, like I'm trying to think about Lenzerheide last year. I mean, there's maybe more people, but more people compared to Germany, no, but compared to maybe a regular Lenzerheide World Cup, maybe. All the IBU branding advertising boards are gold instead of silver, which is like a little thing, but it's a little thing that you definitely, I definitely notice. It's just like a detail. And then the other thing, I guess, is that you're in the same hotel for 2 weeks. So you better be happy with the food and the accommodation because you're kind of stuck there. It's not like you're there for 6 days and you're packing up again. So, but no, I mean, I remember going to Canada Games and I think they do a pretty good job at Canada Games to make it pretty not similar, but there is an opening ceremony and you're staying at a university style campus where you can, hang out with where like everybody's in the same dining, same, common areas and stuff. So I want to think that like I've lived that like sort of thing to a smaller extent before. I mean, I did like, Saskatchewan games on an even smaller level where you're bunking in with 24 other guys in a classroom at somebody's high school in Prince Albert. So hopefully it's not like that. But yeah, no, I think I'm anticipating that it's going to be quite a bit different than the World Champ like experience. I think it's going to be more similar to how Canada Games felt, which is cool because I feel like there's probably not a lot of other countries that can prepare for like have that experience at 17 or 18, right? Like I when I won the individual Canada Games, I got interviewed by CBC and it was like a whole thing and it was like broadcasted and it was I thought I'd won the Olympics that day, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool that that's just like a thing that we do that everybody gets to share.
Oh yeah, it's magnificent.
And Jordan is probably thinking, "Oh, here we go. How's the 3D printing?"
Can I ask a question
going?
before we get to that?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
He's like, I better get this in before we get started.
Well, no, it's exactly it. Well, it sort of relates back to what we were just talking about, but also because once we go down this pathway, I know we're going to be there for 30 minutes. So last season, first full season on the World Cup, big takeaways you had from it, learning experiences. What were your biggest surprises, high points from the season?
Yeah. Well, I showed up in better shape than I have, like probably ever, which is cool. And was like, I don't really know why, honestly. I think I know why now. I didn't know why at the time. But yeah, so I like November and December, Contilati and Hochfilzen in France I was like enjoying, being on tour and I was having like pretty good results as well. I like for where I used to be. So I would say like now I gotta think. I feel like my relay performance was maybe like it wasn't great in the Nova Mesto. I didn't do that well, but like I was pretty stoked on my relays up until that point, and then after that as well. Like my Polkuka relay was strong. Like I hit 10 in the mixed, and the World Champs relay was great. Like my performance was good. So I kind of got to the end of the season like, man, if I could just race a 10K sprint like I can race a 7.5K relay, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, obviously like Hawkfield, I made the pursuit, which was pretty sweet. I've like probably raced above my level a little bit, maybe in the sprint. Well, I mean, I hit 9, so I kind of would hope to expect to make the pursuit hitting 9. Missed my last target, and then the pursuit in Hawkfield tonight, I hit 18, but I wasn't skiing that well, so I just kind of pulled up the rear, no matter what I was going to shoot. So was what it was, but but I think last year the standout for me was the Christmas period. Like we came back for Christmas, and the training block that I did over Christmas was not like didn't work for me. Like I sort of finished France, and I was like, okay, I think I'm pretty fit, and I want to like push a little bit more and see if I can extract like a little bit more fitness. And went into like a pretty hard training block that was primarily focused on like really short, like 2-minute intensities, like at max effort. And came back in January and was just felt like a shell of myself, honestly. Like I had that like 2-minute push, but I was really struggling on like the last lap and sort of just like in the longer, so that was like pretty rough at the time. This is Ruhpolding, Oberhof, Antolz trimester last year. And then from Antolz onwards, I was pretty much writing I was doing my own plan at that point, because I was, at some point I just felt like I knew what I needed to do, and I just like felt like I wanted to like start executing that, and I felt like my performance started to turn around at that point. I think it was a little bit, at the end of the day, a little bit too late, or a little too late, because being in like such bad form for what I felt like was kind of like a month and a half, and then trying to turn it around for World Champs in a 2-week training block. So now that I'm kind of like had that learning experience, I'm applying a lot of what I like am figuring out during that time to my training now. And I'm feeling like it's going quite a bit better so far this summer. So
awesome.
I'm not I'm maybe cautiously optimistic is like the right way to talk about it. And it's also only August 10th, so we got a long way to go. But it actually is quite fun being in Cochrane, because I don't do intensity with the other guys kind of really at all, right? So I have no idea if I'm like fast or slow, or extremely fast or extremely slow. So I'm honestly kind of okay with it. Like I'm gonna race the Whistler races at the end of August, and we'll probably I'll find out if I'm close or not at that point, and what we need to work on for September and October. But it was like a pretty cool sort of learning experience once I started like really understanding, like taking accountability and then understanding the training that I was doing, which is something I felt like that I haven't been doing up until recently. So,
right. Well, so now that your girlfriend knows the farmer, she can always talk to him to chase you down next time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know what kind of farm it is, but maybe you can get like some really good beef or something from them. I don't know.
There's a lot of cows up there.
There you go.
It's actually an issue because there's cows on the road often.
Oh gosh.
And people and farmers on horses chasing the cows on the road. So, and horses and roller skiers they don't mix. So
there's something about the clicking of the poles, because I find it crazy how many dogs just lose their mind when I'm roller skiing by them.
Yeah. So and it's the exact same thing. You can't get within. Honestly, the horses that are in the pasture when I'm ski by, they used to really get upset, and now by day, whatever it is, 70 up there, probably not, but day 30 or 40, they're pretty chilling out. But
soon they'll be restless when you're not there.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they're gonna. Yeah, I mean, it is 4 times a week kind of thing, like 4 or 5 times a week. I'm up same road, so I get to know, like, everybody waves now, and it's pretty
good.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty fun. So
it's gonna be one of those stories that when you do make the Olympics, right, and they'll be like, Logan Pletz, from small town Canada, and no small, right, and they do like the little interview. They do this on NBC. They find the stories, right, and they're like, they'll interview the dairy farmer, that you go by all the time. They're like, oh yeah, been talking to his girlfriend and watching him train. I knew he was going to be there one day. And,
yeah. No, they're all going to be shocked, I would say. Yeah. Like they'll put it together at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that guy that we see every day.
They were serious about that?
Yeah.
Well, it's either going to be that, or we get a headline in a couple months that says, Canadian biathlete tragically trampled by a herd of cows, while he was training for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different spin for sure.
Yeah, I hope it's not that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sure. You guys, rifles. We got to get there.
No. It's I don't want you to zone out, Jordan, because you were saying before we started recording, you're also making some of your own furniture, and we've talked about this, that you're not just doing 3D printing for rifles, but you clearly enjoy working with your hands, either in wood or 3D print or whatever it is. I know you have the website for the rifles, but is it sort of still a hobby for you mostly, or are you thinking that might be something you want to do professionally, part-time or full-time, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, so 3 years ago, I 3D printed my rifle stock.
Right.
Or, yeah, it would have been, it's kind of my second year on the national team. And that was cool. And then I did it again the year after, and it was better. And then I sold one to Zach, and I, had 2 or 3 people that were kind of interested. And then I sold one to Lucas Smith, who has raced the IBU Cup. And he raced the individual in not Shushin, the other IBU Cup stop, Yilo, maybe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was there. And crashed and broke it. And this was like day 4 maybe of owning it. It was like shit. And so the issue at that point was, like, anybody that's broken a 3D print in half or broken a hockey stick or a bike frame, that that's it, right? Like you're not. So that was kind of like a moment for me where I'm like, man, I don't feel that good about, like, building. I don't feel that good about that my work can just, like, go to shit like that. And also for somebody who's stuck overseas with a bottle of wood glue, and no hope of of fixing it. So that's when we moved into, that was sort of maybe a little bit of a catalyst. The other issue that we ran into was that I was spending, like, an exceptional amount of time on finishing the 3D printed rifle stock. So it's like, it's a 30-hour job from start to finish or more, with, sanding from 120 to 240 to all the way up to 3,000 or 5,000, and then you're clear coating, and then you're, so it was kind of a cost benefit analysis of the product that I was building before, and what we wanted it to look like for, like, an end user. And so at that point, we made the decision to start cutting them out of maple. And so when I say we, this is my dad, me, and then a guy named Brett Park, who is a master athlete from Regina, Saskatchewan. And he's also a computer science. I think he maybe has a master's in computer science, or, forgive me, Brett, I don't know what your degree is, but so between
he's good with computers, so let's put it that way.
So my dad built a CNC basically that cuts rifle stocks and basic rifle stocks alone. It's, it's big enough on each axis to cut the shape. So I mean, you could make a staircase, like, I don't know, dowel or whatever they are,
Right.
but that's basically it. And the feature, I guess, that we built into it was that it does a 4-axis. So it's like a 3-axis, like your 3D print head or laser or regular CNC. And then we also have like a lathe axis, like a rotating cylinder axis, that we can program on 10 or 15 or 50 or 90 degree rotations. So we can cut on any axis on the rotation as well, which is like definitely, I don't know how many people are like able to do that all in one, because it all happens in one cut or in one program. So yeah, my dad built this machine from scratch, basically, like out of aluminum extrusion and 3D printed parts, and his router is like Bosch router that he had in his garage, and then Brett did all the programming. So we programmed it basically from scratch as well. We used like the open builds template, but yeah. So they turned the first one out. It might have been January. I was overseas, so I wasn't
taking the highlight, when you were away.
Yeah. So, but they did an incredible amount of work on the back end to get it ready. And so now how it works is I get we call them blanks, but a cut version of the stock that shows up to my house, and then I do all the assembly with the magnets and the hardware, and then I do the bedding as well. So we sort of split the job up into 3 different domains, and that allows us to hit a price point that's more reasonable. I figured that if I was doing the 3D printed ones, like I was gonna be charging like 3 or over 3,000 for my time, and the product that we're putting out wasn't worth that, right? So at the end of the day, we're putting out like a better looking product, and it's definitely more consistent across different serial numbers, and so yeah, we're like pretty happy with how they're turning out. So in terms of is it a career? I enjoy woodworking for sure. I don't know if the market for biathlon stocks is that big in Canada.
Yeah, he would have to expand a bit there.
Yeah. But I'll definitely do it, as a side hobby for as long as the demand is there. And I think the demand is, growing. I think we're in a bit of we had quite a bit of sales at the start of the season, May and June.
Nice.
And then I feel like we're in a bit of a lull right now, because I think that all the elite athletes who are looking to switch rifle stocks had their stuff sorted out in the early season before they started training. And I think all the masters that start biathlon in November haven't thought about biathlon yet. So that's sort of my thought around that. But yeah, at the same time, we still have 3 or 4 orders at the moment, so we're still busy enough to that we have enough to do. So
now that the machine is all set up, so what's the time now to get a blank out, like you said, from putting a piece of maple to 4 hours? Wow.
Yeah, so I think it's 4.5 hours. And even the code itself has changed. Like it was 8, and then it was 6, and then Brett, said a spell or something. I don't even know what happened, but then it went from 6 to 4, and yeah. So he's funny, because I'll sell one and I'll message him back. Do we have any blanks? And he's like, yeah, I have like 7 or 6, just like sitting in the garage. I had a Sunday, and we got them all done. So yeah, so that's been pretty fun. We have a guy in Saskatchewan, in Lumsden, Saskatchewan, which is where I grew up until I was 12 or 13. And that's where the Qu'Appelle Valley Nordic Center is, which is like Saskatchewan's biggest biathlon range. We actually got as in Qu'Appelle Valley Nordic. I'm still like, that's still the club I race under, but we got the old Canmore Nordic Center targets and like automated system.
Okay.
So when they redid the range, whatever that was 2 years ago, my dad and me and a few others came in, boxed up all the targets, all the roofing, all the electronics, and then they're setting that up at QVN now. So, yeah,
you did it all in one night? Secretly,
no.
You went over in one night and
we
got it
stole
all.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, come a long way since we started it when I was 15 or so, 16 maybe. But what was I talking? So there's a guy in Lumsden who does he's an automotive like restoration guy. He does like old cars and stuff, and his son plays for Saskatchewan Rough Riders, which is our only pro team for sports. But he does all of our paint. So so my dad takes out some rifles, and we have one. We did a few blue ones and a few orange ones so far. But he has a whole swath of like kind of retro-y like hot rod paint schemes, which is pretty cool, like purples and also like GMC like burgundies, and kind of, so we'll have a few different colors that are going to be popping out like in the next few months. Cool. I think.
Nice. So you're the guy has the setup for the paint anyway.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I have a patent on the orange stock, right?
Oh, really? Yours is orange?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Orange and red. It goes from the Dutch flag into the Canadian flag.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I posted a photo on our Instagram of the orange one, which is the one I'm going to be using this year.
Cool.
So I just actually got that one set up like a few days ago.
And is that because I'm at your website, projectlp.ca right now. And so then you're still having the 3D printed components for like the standing block and the grip and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So the biggest hang up for me with 3D printing the stock itself was that you can't, like, printers that are 700 millimeters long are expensive and hard to come by. So, and you want to print it in one piece. There's not a great way to connect to 3D prints without, you could thread it, do inserts or whatever. And so what I'd done was I was carbon wrapping them. But for the smaller pieces, the turnaround on adjustability and customization, and also just time and effort, is totally worth the 3D printing payoff. And add to the fact that the materials that we're using now for those parts are like way better than the ones I was using when I was printing the stocks full stop. Yeah. So one of the issues I was having when I was printing them, the full ones, is that epoxy doesn't bond to a lot of plastics. So it bonds to ABS and it bonds to ASA, but it doesn't bond to PLA. It doesn't bond to polycarbonate. It bonds okay to nylon, which is what I was using because nylon was the strongest plastic on its own. So I wasn't actually getting that good of a connection on the carbon to the core itself.
Right.
So, and it was strong enough, but it was inconsistent was the issue. So, but what we're using now is it's a polycarbonate. The acronym's PCPBT, which is polycarbonate, and then PBT is I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's specifically formulated for cold weather performance.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. So, and Brett, our like resident nerd computer guy, did destructive testing on all available filament types. So he printed standard shape, and then he rigged up a rubber mallet that swung at a in a 270 degree arc, or not, like 180 degree arc, and it hit. And then he had like a few stages that he could raise it up to, and then we plotted out all the different breakpoints of all the different materials. And he also, so he did it at room temperature, and then he froze them all in his freezer. So he did a few, so we figured that this is the if we're having broken parts with this stuff, that it's going to be, I don't know if there's much else we could have done to stop that from happening.
Right.
So, yeah. So,
And is that
but
the idea then? If somebody has an issue with their rifle, let's say during the World Cup, then it can be regenerated pretty quickly for the small pieces with the 3D printing, and then even you'll probably have some spare stocks with you.
yeah. So I usually travel with quite a collection of spare bits and bobs, as well as a spare stock often. So yeah, there were on a few occasions where, I can only really help Zach, and well, Jasper Fleming this year also has one of my stocks. So I'll take enough to help out whoever needs it, who's using my stuff. But a lot of the breakable pieces we've also switched to aluminum. So like the butt plate is aluminum now, and the butt hooks are still plastic, but the butt hooks are 2 inches long, and we could pack 20 of them if we had to. So the next best thing would be if we had an actual 3D printer that traveled, because they're small and
you print on demand
easily. Yeah, you could easily make that happen, and do something overnight if you broke a butt hook or something. But that's probably a later, not the biggest consideration currently. So
right. And then are the stocks all standard size, or do you print them different sizes for different people, whatever they want?
So yeah, we're just kind of getting into that. Yeah, we're just sort of getting into that now. We've had, I designed it for myself, obviously. So, and I'm 6'2" and have long arms, and so it fits on the larger side versus definitely fits larger than a Bachmann. The Sansang. I have a Sansang in the garage, and I did a few caliper measurements. Our shortest available butt plate length versus their shortest butt plate length and longest, and we can actually go shorter and longer than the Sansang, which is pretty cool. Like we just have better adjustment than they did. Because I don't know if they're even really making stuff anymore.
Yeah, I heard they were not making it anymore.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But there definitely is limitations on the shorter end. So we're just kind of, we got our first left-handed order a few weeks ago, which is its own
it's not as easy as just mirroring it, eh?
Yeah. Well, so we can mirror the model, which is totally fine, but then all of the cam, the CNC coding has to be redone for the new model. So honestly, the solution we thought of first, the easiest thing we could have done is to buy a router bit that spins the other way and wire our router to just spin the other way and mirrored, and we can mirror the code a lot easier than we can mirror the model, and then redo the code after mirroring the model. So we were trying to just cut it backwards. But I think, I don't know, I'd have to touch base with Brett, but I'm pretty sure he's been grinding through each print profile to redo it all for left-handed. So, but yeah, no, there's enough adjustment in the obviously in the 3D printed parts, you can do whatever you want. And then the other thing that we're trying to do is I try and gather as much information about the athlete as possible before shipping one out. So, for example, when I was on the Bachmann on my first year on the national team, I picked it up, put my rifle on it, and immediately the cheek piece couldn't go high enough because I had 20 millimeter sight risers, right? So, and that's an easy fix. I just have a drop down on my website. What size of sight risers do you have? And then we just match the cheek piece to we have a small, medium, and a large. And if you have no sight risers, then we just ship you the regular one. And then if you have sight risers, then the small one's going to get you nowhere close. So, so there's a few things like that are making it a little bit easier and more maybe more user friendly for the end user. I'm hoping. I mean, we've shipped out. We're on serial number. We're doing serial numbers 13 to 23 now. So we're there's 10 or so out in the wild somewhere. And I've had good feedback so far. So
And then
we'll
so
see.
for the standing block, and like, do you like use clay to get an actual handprint and then scan that, or do you just have a couple models to pick from that are sort of standard? Or
so I have like 3 standard models. We have like one that's loosely based off the Sansang design, geometry wise, like where you're having your like the split in your fingers and your thumb is roughly on the same plane, like sort of level. And then the standing block that I designed is a little bit the thumb is a little bit higher compared to where the fingers are. So so the thumb is closer to the trigger, I guess, which takes strain off your thumb a little bit more. But in terms of the clay, so I played around a little bit with that a few years ago, and I got the one design that I'm using for the hand stop, like for prone, was a derivative of one that I developed using plasticine and a 3D scanner. But what I found was that model just like I just nailed it, and that one works like for like I put that on small kids rifles. I put that on me. I put that on like Zach's rifle, and it's just like somehow a geometry that just seems to work for like a variety of hands. So go from there, I was like, well, this scanning, it's not. I don't think it's that deep, honestly. Like, I don't think you need the grooves between the fingers, and I don't think you need to be scanning to get the person's fingerprint on the one, where their small finger goes or their like pinky finger goes. So what I've done like to sort of manage that is that like worked a lot on organic modeling, like just like my skills with organic modeling. So going from like photo reference to 3D model, either using Fusion or Blender, has gone like quite a bit better. So if somebody sends me photos of like their standing block, I can like replicate it quite close, and also just like verbal like feedback as well. So I know Dave does like a scan, and like I think he mails you like a kit, and then you can scan. He mails you a kit with some plasticine or putty, and then you shape your hand, and then he brings it back and then scans it and then sends you a 3D printed part, which is like obviously super cool tech. But for me, it's not. It's just not that deep, I guess. Like I find I can get different shapes that fit different people, but are close enough to what they're looking for. Just off of
I hope my wife's not listening, because I've spent so much time on standing blocks, and then, in the end, you sort of sand it, and then you end up with this sort of generic handprint that you could probably just done right off the bat.
Honestly, the standing block there's like a lot of variation. The pistol grip has been the hardest one for me. Like I've gone through probably 30 pistol grip iterations in 3 years, like, and not when I'm racing, but just over the summer, and I have like a old coach, like almost a coach consultant. His name is Corey Knifer. He went to the Olympics in 2012 for 10-meter air rifle and 50-meter prone, like 50-meter rifle. So he's like a precision shooter. And I was showing him my pistol grips because he's kind of like an older style. He was kind of like me, but like 20 or 30 years ago when they just had clay, and so he did all his modifications with clay. And I've been telling him, you got to get a 3D printer, man. But anyways, he was looking at modifications, and some of them he's like, oh, this makes so much sense. And some of them he's like, from a precision shooting perspective, this is like so like hilariously not correct. So that's like a fun, reference to bounce off of too. Because the pistol grip was one of them where he's like, I was like, I think I want to do this. He's like, I really don't think you want to do that.
Well, there must be making it. It must be a difference maker that you use it prone and standing, right?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Like you have to kind of make sacrifices on both sides versus,
Right.
I guess when you're shooting precision, that you do
We haven't
your,
come up with a system where you can sort of click it in position for both
so what I
prone
did
and
do
standing.
is I figured out a way to make the butt plate lengths different for prone and standing.
Okay.
Um, which basically because you use your top hook for prone and your bottom hook for standing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're not actually, your shoulder isn't sitting on the same place on the rifle for both positions. So I basically 3D printed like a wedge and I'm using it for standing to lengthen my standing position.
Mm-hmm.
So this when my shoulder's at the bottom half of my butt plate, it's like 3/4 of a centimeter longer. And then when it's at the top, because it wedges to nothing, it pushes my shoulder to the top of the butt plate, and then you're back to where you would be normally.
Okay.
So so you don't have to do any switches. Like I remember Trevor had one where he kind of flicked a thing like it was on a lever, and it kind of like levered into position and clicked in for prone, and then he would like release it, and it was spring loaded, and then it would like flip open for standing and like get out of the way.
Okay.
But yeah, the way I'm doing it, it's just like the angle forces your shoulder into like two different positions for the two different
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
standing
that's
and
cool.
prone. Yeah.
Are we going to see that soon on your website, or is it on your website already?
I don't know if it's actually on the photos. Yeah, I should put it up there. But the problem is it's only specific to my butt plate. So,
Right. Yeah.
So I get my own aluminum hardware made, and my aluminum hardware is compatible with Sansing and Bachmann and quite a few of the custom stocks. You know, anybody using M4, M5, or M6 bolts can pretty much put my stuff on. But yeah, so I've done actually a few retrofits because the Sansing butt plates are like quite brittle, like not brittle, they're bendy. So like
Okay.
kids fall on them and they get bent, and the hooks break quite often. So and that's how mine was before I, like, 5 years ago or whatever. So I've done quite a few of the Biathlon Alberta Training Center kids like retrofitted their butt plates with aluminum ones. So yeah.
It's a nice hobby to stay busy with, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it also
Especially-
justifies so many capital purchases for my garage tool chest.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Well, the good thing you were already doing this before you moved in with your girlfriend, so
Yeah.
she knew what she was getting into.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I just bought a new 3D printer. I got a Bamboo probably a month ago now, but so now I have two. They're in the garage, but
See, the difference I make between 3D printers is one, you can just print in your living room, and the other, you have to wear a mask and it has to be encased. I'm assuming that yours is the latter.
Well, it's in the garage, so
Okay,
it's okay. But yeah, the new Bamboo is like a closed chamber. Yeah, but the big difference was just I didn't need the space anymore. Like the one I had originally was a 400 millimeter build plate, so it was like properly like half the rifle stock could fit
Right.
on. And when you're just doing small parts now, it doesn't. I'd rather trade like speed and efficiency and functionality for the build size. So
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna keep it because it has laser and CNC on it.
Okay.
So it's like a 3-in-1. And I have some future laser and CNC projects planned. So it's still worth its space sitting in the garage for now.
Yeah, definitely speed. I can relate to that. I've been my son's had his birthday yesterday, and I was telling him how when I was a lot younger, I had a rack for hanging CD cases on your wall, and they're just absurdly crazy right now. So I've been 3D printing some, but like just one holder for a CD is about half an hour, and he has about at least 50 CDs he wants to hang. So
okay, yeah. Yeah, it's like,
but it's the nice thing is you turn it on, you walk away, and
yeah, that's That's the nice one. This new one for sure. That's more the style. And I have it it has a live stream to my phone, so I can pause it from my
Nice.
phone if required, if it's not going well from anywhere with a Wi-Fi connection. So,
Right.
yeah, which is super handy.
I was going to ask how you're taking orders.
Just on the website, but I like to, like, I've been talking to everybody before the website's really a method of payment more than a advertising platform right now. I mean it's a little bit of advertising, but the community is small enough that I can talk to everybody, not face to face or on the phone or through messages, and really get like a sense of what they're looking for before they're ordering. So, and that's, I feel like, I've got to build it out more so that I can collect better information on the website. But for now, that's the way I'm doing it. And it's more or less okay because like the total addressable market size in Canada is about 7,000 people potentially, right? And I probably know maybe 15% by name already, and 50% by know somebody who knows somebody. So so for now it totally works.
I also think with a product like that, because it is so niche, they kind of want to talk to you anyway, probably.
For sure. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. So, and honestly, it gives me, I love talking about it because I've worked really hard on to where we're at right now, and I know, I don't want to sound like I know everything about what we're doing, but I know everything about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So if they're asking me questions
you've
about,
tried enough too, I would say.
Yeah. So if they're asking me questions about why I'm doing something, like every single design choice has an intention.
Right.
And so it's only an opportunity to explain to somebody and to also re-explain to myself, okay, this is why I chose to do it this way, versus doing it a different way. The biggest, like our butt plates, I mean, as an example, used to have the top hook used to be aluminum, and it used to be all built into the vertical. So it was like vertical, and then the aluminum top hook kind of came out, and then the bottom hook was adjustable.
Right.
And this past run, we've taken off the top hook completely, and so we're doing plastic on the top and on the bottom. So it's like a win for everybody, because my manufacturer now only has to CNC, a 5 millimeter width or a whatever. It's only the width of the butt plate itself and not that extra hook.
Right.
So it's cheaper to manufacture, it's cheaper to sell. And then I can also do custom hooks on the top and the bottom.
Right.
Which is like, for some people that want it a bit thicker, a bit thinner, or in a different spot, is like a way better solution. So.
Right. And how do you know? It seems there's not really very many and not very clear rules on what's allowed, other than the weight, that it has to be at least 3.5 kilograms?
5 kilograms. Yeah. My stock last year was 12 grams overweight.
Wow.
Like when they weighed it on the scale. And multiple times it was between 12 and 20 grams overweight. And at one point the guy's like, "You're only 12 grams overweight." I'm like, I know exactly how overweight I am. But yeah, no, there's a few regulations about how tall your standing block can be. There's a lot of advertising rules. And other than that, and then the other one that gets me is the trigger guard. You have to have a trigger guard like that enclosed.
Right. Sure.
So, which is actually super annoying, because the trigger guard is really hard to work around when you're trying to get in your hand in different places. Like, I want to try my hand here, with trigger guards in the way. The first stock editions were dicey on the, like I rolled up to World Cup and the guy's kind of pressing on it, and he's like, "Is this a rigid enclosed?" Like the wording's like rigid enclosed trigger, safety, whatever. And he's kind of like, it was very much up for interpretation about the translation from German to English when they wrote the rules as to if it was rigid enough and enclosed enough for his standard. But we got away with a few. I think there were probably a few close calls in the first few years of between Zach and I. He weighed in, maybe 5 grams overweight at one point, and it was like a little touch and go. So I'm glad we're kind of through that phase, and now I have something that we're producing that is the same as the last one that I produced, and I don't have to stress as much that it's going to break a roll. So
it's pretty awesome.
And now you got to find a farmer who grows walnut trees or maple trees. Sorry,
maple trees. Yeah, walnut, and we looked at walnut as well. But it is just like walnut's a little bit more expensive. It's a density thing too. So we're actually using like a softer maple, so it's actually quite a bit less dense than a maple that you use for your cupboards or whatever. So yeah, these new ones they're heavier. They're 3.6 ish, so they're about 100 to 150 grams over the weight limit, depending on your like specific build. So the one that we did a cool one for Ryan Eldon, because he has a heavy barrel on his rifle. So we actually did a stock that is light enough that he can get down closer to the weight limit with his heavy barrel. So it kind of messed with the balance, obviously, because all of his weight is on the front. But that was what he wanted to do, and so we did one of those for him. So I think he's probably getting pretty close as well. But for the vast majority of people are using the sprint barrel, and it comes out to 3.6 ish and change. So
have you tried cherry wood at all, or is it too expensive? Even if it was good.
So we haven't. I don't think we have a line on wood because my dad's cousin owns a furniture and cabinetry company in Regina. So he does all the laminating and building of the actual blanks. So we literally get like a pallet of just perfect size. They're all the same size. And then we just throw them on the CNC. So we might move the actual wood processing in-house. But right now I think the payoff is like not worth the time and effort, because it takes a while to, and a lot of waste too. So.
Well, wait until this podcast comes out. Then
that's true. Yeah.
you might have to reconsider.
Yeah.
But so if people are interested, projectlp.ca is where they should go.
Yeah. That's website, and then send me a message, because there is some information on there, but not as much as obviously I've even shared today. So, yeah.
I mean, it's really amazing. It's almost like you had the right people and the right connections, and it just sort of all came together to work really well. I'm remarkably impressed.
Yeah. It wasn't. I couldn't have done it on my own to this like level now. Like I got, percentage wise, I was 40% of the way there, maybe on my own. But yeah, I mean, it helps that, my dad's retired, so he has the time to work on it, I guess, a little bit. And Brett works, like, he does code, so he works from home, I think, primarily. Sure. So, and they both want to help me as well, right? Like obviously my dad, but Brett used to sponsor me just with cash before even from his like coding company, or like he like builds websites as well, and like apps and stuff. So he's like in my support circle for years, even before we
throw that name in there
project. Yeah. His company is Shiverware, SHIVERWARE. He actually built an app for, man, he's gonna tease me about this, because I'm gonna butcher the like explanation, but he built an app that monitors like the strokes and technique for Swimming Canada. So they wear like a smartwatch, and then it like extrapolates like stroke data from the smartwatch, which I think is like that was maybe a few years ago, but
it's worked out pretty well, because I think Canadian swim team has been pretty good the last couple of years.
Yeah. So he'd probably be a good guest one day. He could tell you tell RJ all about every line of code that he wrote for the CNC. You guys, Jordan would you wouldn't even have to show up, probably. Honestly.
I would sit here and I would just like take notes, and I would, I would just have it all edited in my head before, we even sat down.
Yeah.
No, it's obviously I can talk about this forever, but it's what I find most funny is that your whole story of, heavily into 3D printing and doing so much testing and trying out things and figuring out what works and not, and in the end coming back to, the more retro approach, I guess, of using wood for at least the foundation, if you want to call it that. And I've been going through that whole process with making a new standing block, where I just got out of garage a couple hours ago because I was carving a new standing block in wood.
Right. Yeah.
So it is super cool though. It definitely, even though I may not use a 3D printed part for the standing block, I still think you think about things differently, because you look at it in CAD and you look at efficiencies of how to put things in and have it in a way that still works for you, but just works better with the rifle or something. So I think it's super cool.
Yeah. Honestly, the what I've enjoyed about woodworking, like specifically, is the 3D printing. You do your design and then you hit play, and then you go and distract yourself for 3 hours, because that's how long it takes before you can do anything else. So it's like if you started at noon, then you get to maybe look at it again at 3, and then again at 6, and then again in the morning when you run an overnight one. And when you're doing like woodworking stuff, you if you've messed up immediately, and then you can start over or whatever needs to happen. But if you're doing a little glue up or whatever, you wait an hour. But that's the fun part, is that if I want to go and like put my mind to it and get a project done, I can just go and do the project and not have to, okay, I'm going to go put my mind to it for 17 and a half minutes, and I press play, and then, okay, now what do I do? So, but yeah, it's definitely, now I have a woodworking project on the go. I can press play and then go distract myself with something else while it's going on. And then that seems to work a little bit better, keep my brain occupied. So,
Jordan, any other questions? Not related to nerding out.
Like, seriously, what do you have? What are your big highlights? What are the things that are coming up the next few months before trials in November?
So we're going to Whistler. I just got back from Whitehorse last week, which was sick. It was like a vacation sort of thing. But I was there with my friend Kieran, who used to do biathlon, and we went fishing and went to Skagway and did the whole
nice
thing up north. So that's just his regular life, but it was really cool for me. Didn't catch a big enough fish to, present or tell you about, unfortunately. But yeah.
Well, next time we talk, right? The way the story goes, next time we talk, it's going to be
exactly. Yeah, it's going to be big enough.
Yeah.
But no, we're doing like the Whistler summer races at the end of August. So, and I think most of Adam's going and Zach's going and most of the guys are going. So I think from what I've heard, the murmurings are that Alexander, who's the guy who lives in the old house that I used to live in, like back in the glory days of my time in Whistler when there were 6 of us in a 3-bedroom. Apparently he's putting a bunk bed in the living room so we can fit like 8 in the house. So for 2 weeks. So that's going to be pretty sweet.
That picture of his name escapes me. The Norwegian guy who was sleeping in the bathtub in the last, was it the last Olympics or the last World Championships?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Well, it's not Bo and it's not Ligret.
Christensen?
Vedla Christensen.
We'll just run through them all. Yeah.
No, but it's
yeah. No, but it should be like it's different. Obviously, having my own place and stuff, and you kind of miss having the guys all in one spot.
Oh yeah,
so that'll be good. And then we have Park City, I think, as well, like tentatively planned, but I'm like pretty sure I'm going to go and do the US. They do like a roller ski trials in end of September, early October. So yeah, we'll do that. And then, I mean, the other big change is for me, I'm driving out to Camera a lot more, because I got to go, now that the range is open, and obviously when Frozen Thunder comes out, then I'm going to be skiing, pretty often out there. So,
Sure.
yeah, so we'll just be a bit more commuting going forward.
Yeah. It's a nice drive. You can always take the 1A. If you need
That's true. Yeah. Well, I take it halfway to the Smitty's like exit and then rip onto the number 1 highway. So that seems to be the fastest way to go. But yeah,
I've never driven it before, but just looking at where it is on the map, like it's got to be gorgeous compared to
it's gorgeous.
My commute down here.
Yeah, unless you're trying to go to Canmore on like a Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, or trying to come to Calgary on a Sunday evening, Monday morning, then it's not so fun because you're doing, it's probably still really beautiful and you get tons of time to look at it because you're doing 25 an hour on the highway. So
unless you're in a snowstorm, then you won't have that either.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, my commute doesn't look so bad anymore.
Yeah. So that would be a day to take the 1A, that's for sure.
All right, man. Well, as always, we appreciate it. We appreciated it last year. We appreciated it in Oslo when you let us just like chat you up for an entire afternoon. And it's always a pleasure. Even if when you guys are chatting rifles, I don't know if you noticed the entire time I'm like looking down because I'm pulling up your Instagram so I could like try to look at the rifle and try to like visualize what you guys are what you guys are talking about.
Enough.
So
yeah,
I was doing my best.
It's not an easy there's not a lot of references to below the trigger, above the trigger, forward there, because you can look at it from so many different points, saying above or up or whatever doesn't really make that much sense, right? So we struggle with that even within between my dad and I. I'm like, I think the butt plate needs to go forward a bit, and he's like, what direction?
So, which axis?
Yeah, exactly. So but no, it's
I feel your pain because my wife and I still have a different interpretation of when we're parking the car, and I say you just park in front of the car. She means I am even confused now which one I mean and which one she means, but I think I'm the one who says you drive past the car and then you park it there, and she wants to before you pass, or the other way around. I don't even know anymore. But yeah, it's interesting where you're thinking you're saying the same thing, but you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
all right. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And good luck later, with hopefully they'll get this HDP sorted out soon, so you'll get some more clarity on what it takes to get there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay, cheers.